more in excess later on, after the interview is done. So we're entering the second half of the interview here. Hopefully Hal's got his cameras and everything's going. He can join us in here in a second here. So we've switched mics around. This is what we do here on the Meat and Potato Show. Everything's live, real, and raw. That's why it's cold. And it's cold. Yes, exactly. It's cold. I'm sorry. Hey, if Camp Constitution or somebody wants to invest in Meat and Potato Show, we can insulate the place and get some heat going here.
I'm not complaining, I'm just mentioning it.
Anyway, I want to welcome here Dr. Punya Murtula Kishore. He's not PhD, actual doctor. And his specialty is drug and alcohol addiction. And he has come here with Hal tonight to discuss things with us, not only on the Article 5 and Convention of the States, but to talk about some of the things that he's got going on. And Doctor, please, sir, take over the microphone. Thank you for coming on, and thank you.
Chris, thank you for having me on the show. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. I have fond feelings for Worcester and all the people here. And I've had a practice here for many years, close to 15 years, before I closed in 2011. And I had a great time building my practice here. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I want to say hello to all the Worcesterians or Worcesterites or national audience you have.
The worms. We're worm town, so we're all worms. Go ahead.
So my specialty is addiction medicine, drug and alcohol addiction, and we have seen the growing problem with addiction in the state, if not the country. It's not just epidemic, it's a pandemic right now, where 10-20% of the population are getting addicted to various drugs. And in addition to what Hal is talking about, I think all of this is connected in a way, and we have to really work hard at reversing the course of history here. Otherwise, we'll be back in 1914 when we had this major problem at the time, right after before the Civil War. Before the first war. So we are getting to the proportions here. It's not just a local problem, but it's a global problem. It's spreading into major countries like China, the Philippines, India, Africa. So it's a global problem right now.
The opiates.
The opiate addiction.
You know, you mentioned that, just before the turn of the century, before World War I. That's very apropos that you mentioned. You're right. The whole China trade, the opiate, that whole thing. Isn't it funny how turn of the century back then, that was the problem. Turn of the century now, hello.
It was real about 100 years ago.
It's reared its again, I use that term, reared its ugly head again.
You know, like Hal is talking about, people who forget history tend to repeat the history. We have to make it a point to remember what happened, whether it be constitution or addiction. I think the answers are the same. A vigilant population. We need people to be active and understanding of what's going on.
Well, it's interesting. When I inherited Sam Blumenfeld's library, and Sam was going to write a book about advertisements, automobile advertisements from the early part of the 1900s. So there were some old magazines, and I looked at the advertisements. And I would say about 20% of them were for some type of opioid treatment.
Sure.
Because
look at all the old drugs from back in the day.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Right.
Now we
heroin and laudanum and cocaine and.
We had Dr. Kishore and Reverend Kraft on a speaking tour in Maine just a week before Thanksgiving. We visited the State House Museum, which is right the State of Maine Museum, which is by the State House, and they had a display. They had these old retro pictures. And it had all these cure-alls that were produced in Maine back in the early 1900s. And all of them loaded with opioids and cocaine and what have you. And that led to, actually, I learned a lot from him. Heroin was one of the things used to treat drug addiction.
That's right.
And it was sort of the methadone of his day. And in those days was 100% pure heroin that they were shooting down. They said, oh, guess what? Maybe this is even worse than the problem. And that's when they outlawed heroin. And Well, Doc, you can take it.
Go ahead, Doctor.
I'm thinking, what I'm looking, Doc is, they're doing a documentary on his life, on his ordeal, I should say, how he created this incredible model of treating addiction with about a 50% success rate. And
Let him take
the
it
state
from
of
there.
Massachusetts, not only did they shut him down, they put him in jail.
Oh,
And
wait a
took his
minute,
license
wait a
away.
minute, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Go ahead, Dr. Kishore, please.
Yes, we realized earlier on that you cannot feed the fiend. Addiction is something you have to stop the epidemic by not giving drugs. But currently the policy at the Washington level is to give more drugs to sort of cure the addiction, and it's not working. And that's part of the problem we are facing with the methadone clinics, Suboxone clinics, and varieties of psychiatric medications.
Yeah.
And we have a major problem here. We need to really take a good hard look at where we want to go. We have to make a 180-degree turn to save the young people. It's a young people's disease. These are people who are passing away are all the youngsters who are the backbone of the country. So we've got to keep our youth safe. And the only way to do it is to bite the bullet and take a hard stand against the drugs.
As a layman myself, I've got to say, even I thought to myself, wait a minute, you have drug addicts, so you're going to give them another drug? It's like quitting smoking. Oh, so you're going to give you a patch that gives you nicotine? It's just that you're not smoking? Wait a minute. Something's, I'm sorry, I'm a street guy, I'm a layman, but doctor, you will probably agree with me. Why can't I square this round hole here? I can't figure this out. You're giving more drugs to get somebody off of drugs. There's something not squaring there. Go ahead, sir.
Well, in AA they have a saying, one is too many, thousand never enough. So
Yeah.
that's the situation that in the School of Hard Knocks they figured it out. And unfortunately, after all the research that they did, which is sponsored by the drug industry, our federal government and the people there are not able to figure it out. It's pretty simple logic. You just need only one match to light a candle. Once the candle is lit, it's going to burn itself out. And there's no point in starting this craziness or cravings if you really can control it.
How is it that you ended up getting in trouble with the law, though? What the hell happened down that road?
Well, it's a long story. I hope to be here again, Chris, to tell the full story.
You got plenty of time here, my friend. We do a 4-hour show. It's as long as you want.
But I think it's a long story, and I started by starting a practice, taking care of addicts in my practice. Then I realized, they need fairly long-term care. Rather than sending them to hither and everywhere, I said, okay, I'm going to bring everything into one place. I was a primary care doctor. I did the detox at home or outpatient. Then I took care of maintaining the sobriety and enhancing the sobriety experience, taking care of little crises, taking care of the whole family. We are a family-friendly place, so my practice grew from one clinic in Brighton to 52 clinics in the state. We basically had 250,000 patients any given day, traipsing in and out of our clinics and being connected with the clinics, using our hotline services or crisis services or on-site services.
Doc, let me ask you a question. You had 250,000 patients that were addicts, either drug or alcohol. What's the percentage of addicts that you provided for care at your peak in the state? Half?
I think any given day we had close to 5,000 people coming in.
I guess my question is, how many addicts were there in Massachusetts, and how many did you take care of? Your clinics?
The statistics are kind of uncertain with this field. The rule of the thumb is 10% of the state is addicted, which is 6 million people, about 600,000 people. That's the rule of the thumb, but
That's a rule of thumb, but you were on average seeing about 250,000 of those. So out of plus or minus rule of thumb, 600,000 addicted, 10% out of 6 million.
a third of those people.
Yeah, you were seeing about a third.
Third of the people, and
You were a busy guy.
Yeah, I had a staff of 370 employees, 29 doctors, 44...
Wait a minute. You employed people?
Yes,
Wow,
sir.
you employed people. Wait. You know what, folks? We can't have the doctor here anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch to some tunes here because this guy actually employed people. Because you can't have that in the state of Massachusetts. Sorry, Doc. Sorry, that's my sarcasm here. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sir.
See, became the issue. I became flying the ointment for the established programs like methadone clinics, rehab clinics.
Right.
Emergency
That's
rooms.
why I added my sarcasm.
And,
Wait a minute. This guy's actually getting stuff done. We can't have this.
And so what they want to do is they try to buy him out.
There you go, right.
Bain Corporation got into the very lucrative methadone clinic business, and they basically said, hey, we'll give you $60 million. They didn't care about his buildings and furniture. They wanted the model. They wanted to put that model
Right.
on a shelf.
Go ahead, Doc.
it's a working model. We were getting calls from the rest of the country, different states were calling us, Indiana, Seattle, so on and so forth. So it's becoming a popular model for people to latch onto. It's a cost-effective model. The state budgets were like $4 billion for addiction care. I was able to do it for $20 million. Similar care, almost, we're matching them step to step. So it became a very cost-effective model, a cheaper model, and a lasting model, a time-tested model. We had studies done by different scientists to make sure we're doing it right. So it became a obstruction to the rest of the system. So we're kind of violently taken out from the.
Because it worked.
It worked, absolutely right. No two words. So the movie will show that in graphic detail. All the people who testified in the movie, my patients, my staff, the doctors who trained me, I trained, all of them are in the movie, along with the people who supported me during my ordeal as well as after my ordeal, people like Hal, who's been a strong right arm for me. And it's a great story. It's a human interest story, a lot of angles to it.
One of the things that you quickly find out when it becomes a government program is that a government program isn't designed to eventually be a means to an end. And that's a key word there, an end. You create a program, you solve a problem, it comes to an end of program, end of problem. Government doesn't work that way.
Self-perpetuating.
It's self-perpetuating, which is why somebody like you, doctor, is such a threat. I'm actually wanting to, do you think Dr. Kishore wants to do this for the rest of his life? No, he wants to get the problem solved and be done with it and go to Boca Raton for the rest of his life and hang out and enjoy, his family and everything else. He doesn't want to be doing this forever. But that's why you're such a threat. You're looking to it, you're doing an ends to a mean. You see what I'm saying? You're doing means to an end. You're going all the way to the end.
Well, I make reference to the medical mafia, and I think it was something that the doc was so caught up in his practice, what God put on my heart to do to heal people, that you always have time to look at the bigger picture. And other people, whether it be in manufacturing or other concerns, now the Laetrile issue, B17. I knew folks, doctors, who learned a lot from their patients. They used non-cutting, burning, or poisoning to treat. They use vitamin therapy to treat cancer.
Sure.
And with a lot of success. So the medical mafia said, this isn't
I know
we're not making any
yeah.
money on that.
Yeah.
And they shut these people
They
down.
shut them down.
put them in
I
jail.
know that.
And so the same thing with the addiction side of the medical mafia.
Go ahead, Doc.
Unfortunately, here there's a lot of human cost. We're losing close to 8-10 people a day, young people who are passing away. It's not simply the disease of cancer or something has taken them over and they're going to decline and die anyway, but it is young death. They're alive and well and suddenly they're dead. It's pretty heartbreaking for the moms and dads, especially for the moms. Their heart never heals when they lose their son or daughter. And it's a tragedy beyond anything we have seen. It's somewhat like like what we see in the Holocaust. We've seen the young people dying, which is what hurts my heart too much. So we have to do everything we can to reverse this tide here. Otherwise, we're going into the white blue yonder, not knowing where we're going to go. And the way they're trying to fix the problem is young people are needed to support the elderly and take care of the young. If we don't have it, we'll have a society with chaotic situation where the elderly can't care for themselves, there will be elder abuse, the poor children can't care for themselves, there will be child abuse. In between is the weekend middle. We can't afford to have that.
Hang on, Hal, hang on. In my business, being a contractor, I'm turning over apartments, Section 8. We work with the Worcester Housing Authority, and we deal with people of poorer means and that kind of stuff, and we bring them into housing. And I'm on the construction side of it, where we rehab the apartments, rehab the buildings, and everything else. We run into this recurring problem. Let's say you have 10 applicants who get 10 apartments. We rehab them, we make them nice, and new furniture and new appliances and everything else. They come from addiction, they come from homelessness or whatever poverty situation that they're in. Out of those 10, this is a fact because I deal with this every single day. Out of those 10, you might get 2, 3 who are on their way to recovery, working very hard. You keep their place clean. They are their nose to the grindstone, trying to get out of the crap life they've been in. The other 7, 8, it's like it's a cycle for them. They just keep, and eventually we do. We have to throw them out of the place, and they get into another program, and we have to cycle through more people. What I'm saying is out of these people that I see, the majority of them, we're cycling them through. There's 1, 2, and then a year goes by, there's another 1, 2. Meanwhile, I've seen 10, 20 people who have come through my end of the business, in my business of Section 8, that it's like, oh, dude, get off the juice. Dude, stop snorting. You know what, put the bottle down. You know what, we're throwing you out again. It just keeps recurring.
This is an area where the community has to work together. We cannot work like the 7 blind men and the elephant. Somebody is housing, somebody is detoxing, somebody is putting them in a crisis unit, somebody is medicating them. We've got so much of fragmentation that there are no winners here. The loser is the society and the taxpayer. Mm-hmm. So we have to work together. This is what I was doing in my office. We had housing people coming in. We would guarantee them with the urine testing, make sure they're sober and clean. If they slip or
So you're very stringent.
Very stringent.
And this is one of the things I had asked the agencies. We work through Friendly House and Frederick Perkins here in Worcester, Mass. And some of the organizations I work with. We just had to. I'm sorry, we had to do it again just this week. Get rid of somebody, and I quite literally said, "Look, we spent thousands rehabbing this place. It's wrecked. We got to spend thousands more. They're all drug addicts." And I had asked the question, don't you vet these people? Don't you?
Right.
Hello?
So what you're saying at your end, which is really, it's not really an assembly line here, there's no connection.
Actually, it almost seems like an assembly line.
But
Hey,
you're at
it's work security for me. Oh, look, the apartment got wrecked again? Oh,
But
looks
you're-
like I
you're-
gotta paint, looks like I gotta put in new cabinets.
You're at the last end, hopefully these people would assimilate back into society, get their own apartment.
That's what I'm
and
saying
the
about
attraction-
that 2 or 3 out of 10 in my
which is still
business that
relatively high,
I see.
considering. So they do a lot of damage to the property, this Section 8 housing.
Getting back to what the doctor said about how much the taxpayers pay for this.
Well, they pay for everything all along the way, from the detox the first week,
Sure.
and to the clinics the second and third week, and of course the social costs when the addicts have to steal or rob from the community, from people in the community.
Now, doctor, do you have to go to the state to get a recompense for some of the work you do? Are you involved in this, Section 8? Do you see where I'm going at? Are you involved in some of that?
I was a private doctor, so we basically saw the patient, we took care
Oh,
of
and a private insurance?
private
Okay.
insurance, yeah.
Or Medicaid or Medicare, depending on.
Any insurance, third party, if you call them. Third party insurance is paid for our care. So it is pay as you go. We do a service.
Oh, right.
We prove it to the state or the insurance company, commercial companies, and then they pay us. Because the checks and balances are there. It's a working system we had, and we had a tight fist.
What's your success rate? How would you scale it?
Well, they say in AA, the 5% are sober at 1 year. Your sobriety is the benchmark. We can always move the goalposts and say sobriety is not the benchmark, but if you put sobriety as the benchmark, AA, they are experiencing 5% success rate with their program.
5% sober in the first year.
First year. Mine,
Right.
we were averaging anywhere from, when I started, it was 37% or sober after 1 year. And then at the end of my practice, we were doing around 50%. We were using different techniques. We had a lot more staff, so we were able to network much better. It's a smooth, well-oiled machine. By 2010-11, I was top of the heap. The model was called the Massachusetts model. At the federal level, they called it the Massachusetts model of addiction recovery. And it was nationally branded as a good model to follow. And then the gorillas swept in and did what they did.
Now, you look at this guy, you can't see all the people out in the audience. Does he look like a real bad, someone that can really clean house and kick some serious butt? Does he look that type?
Doc?
Because they had about 35 state police over his property, a helicopter. So
Are you
he's
serious?
unassuming looking, but he's really a highly trained Delta Force, a dangerous man.
Get on the ground now!
Green Beret training.
Yeah, it was Kafkaesque. What I went through is a story in a
Hey, welcome to America. Land of the free, liberty. Get on the ground! Get on the ground now! Wait a minute. Didn't people like him escape countries that did stuff like that to come to a country that doesn't do stuff like that? I don't know. I'm scratching my head here. Somebody hit me with a crowbar. Go ahead, Doc.
So it's a little bit of my story, and
You guys getting it now? You guys getting the meat and potatoes vibe here?
Oh, we get it, absolutely.
so I think we got new plans. It's a new day. We have people who are looking up to us again in different states. So we're trying to help restart again. So it's a little bit of my story here.
So what's now? What's? Do you have a court date coming? And what's happening with
Well,
this
right
thing?
now everything is quiet, and
He spent 8 months and so many days in jail. He's out of jail.
Jesus
He's got a
Christ.
long probation period, but they kind of trust him. He's not too dangerous, I guess. He's no risk to escape or what have you. So he can travel around the country pretty freely. We've been up to Maine and New Hampshire and making inroads and with other freedom.
He's a Dinesh
people.
D'Souza.
Well, actually, it's
No,
interesting.
that's what you are. You're a Dinesh D'Souza.
I met him. He came to a video. I was showing
What
that
the
video.
hell, America? This is two Indian guys.
They got off the
Okay?
Indians.
That I know. What the hell's going on here?
Yep.
Seriously. What a travesty. Dinesh D'Souza doing everything he can for liberty. You doing everything you can for drug addiction and making the state better. What is wrong? What is wrong here?
well, that's the question that we need to find out. Hopefully, the movie will show a little bit of that.
Well, the documentary is being produced by Joaquin Fernandez.
When's that coming? Give us some info on
Well,
that. Go ahead.
Joaquin he co-directed the documentary called Indoctrination, which is available. You go to online. It goes into the education, the miseducation, the government education. They started filming this documentary in July of this year, 2016. And Joaquin came up here, made 2 trips up here, and he interviewed. He used Endicott Estate in Dedham for some all-day interviews, and they came back up just a few weeks ago In fact, one of the places was this beautiful home right in the hall, right, overlooking the open sea. And we're not sure of the exact date, but they're saying fall of next year. Hopefully it'll be sooner.
Excellent.
And a book is coming out. There's the Cal Seton Foundation is funding most of the project, not all of it. They're a California-based Christian group. And a man named Martin Selbrede, who is one of the directors there at the foundation, he's written about 16 or 17 articles about his ordeal. His book will be available when the documentary comes out, hopefully.
I'm going to do some shameless plugging here. You are now officially invited to our March Worcester Tea Party speaking. You're going to be our speaker. You're going to be our speaker in March.
And by the way, he's also a speaker for
I just, you know what? I'm sorry, shameless plugging for meat and potatoes, shameless plugging for the Worcester Tea Party. I'll give you my card when everything wraps up here. I think I did, didn't I? I did, yeah. So, yeah, no, let's do that. Because this is a travesty. And it's absolutely, I've done shows on Child Protective Services, how they steal children. I've done shows on candidates, how the GOP isn't funding, how there's shenanigans going on with the elections in various people's states. I would love, I've had Hal on here, we talk about the Convention of States. I would love to have a show. Please, God, please, sometime in 2017, I'd love to have a show where somebody comes on and says, yeah, everything's roses. It's wonderful. Everything's fantastic.
There's a lady by the name of Pollyanna. She might be able to come on and talk about that.
Oh my God, I wish to God I could have a show where somebody comes on and says, no, everything's great. We're doing great. The country's great. No one's been arrested for standing up for liberty. Again, guys, you see where the meat and potatoes vibe goes here? It's insanity. It's insanity that I meet people like you, and this story just continues. Not just your story, but everything that I just mentioned, it just happens in all the interviews I've ever had. It's like, you really do, you do. You want to take a book and slam your forehead and say, really, this goes on in our country? Somebody, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, we also, the very fact is he's out of jail. He has the freedom to speak these things and rally people around him. And it's not about him. It's not about him. It's about what he has to offer. This hope he has to offer people who are suffering with this drug addiction problem.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of good happening too. I know you say, you talk about all the problems, and like at Camp Constitution, when we have our annual family camp, we want people to leave there upbeat, not, oh my goodness, it's a whole lot worse than I thought. But in order to solve the problem, you have to understand the problem. You can't solve a problem without understanding all the facts, and this is why these kinds of things are important. And, we had an election, the left thought that they had it sewed up, that the people were that dumbed down, and can you imagine anybody nominating someone like Hillary Clinton to be a president? That's how bad things are. But they rejected her.
Yeah, you're an American citizen, right?
Oh, I'm a permanent resident, yeah.
He doesn't vote, right? No, you don't? No? Yes, no? Somebody correct me here.
He can't, he's not a U.S.
He's not allowed.
citizen, so he doesn't vote.
But go ahead. You're here.
No,
Give your opinion. The election, what do you think?
Well, I think it's a turn for the good, what's happened this current election. I like the way Trump voices his condemnation of drugs and wanting to build a wall. I think these are all good things. In a disease, if you don't control the bugs from coming in, you can't protect the patients.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with addiction. You can't really do much if you have open borders and drugs are flowing in.
Right. How long have you been in the United States?
40 years.
40 years. So you're just a legal resident? What, come on, dude. Come and say, what the hell, man? Come on. At this point in time, what does it matter? But anyway, yeah. But so anyway, so you've watched our political process over the last 40 years. And thank you for saying what you said about Trump. But seriously, let's get a little deeper. Seriously, what do you think? Isn't this you've seen 40 years. Isn't this a fundamental, monumental change in what we've got going on here in our election?
Oh, absolutely. I think we were all rooting for Trump, and we went to house to, promote the literature and books. So we can see that this is needed, much needed. The country is going into the ditch, otherwise, the drugs and coming in and poverty and joblessness. All of this is combined together. We're making it into a prison planet here. People going into prisons every second day. And it was getting to be a little chaotic here. And I think there is some light at the end of the tunnel now.
And what I had said to you earlier about that you left your country because of certain political things to come to a conclusion, but yet here we are. It's you as an immigrant must say to yourself, really, I left this. In fact, let me say here, we've had various Tea Party rallies, not only our monthly thing, but every year we have a rally. And we have, it's not just the people that we get that are Americans, American citizens, I'm gonna say it, white guys, white women, even black women, black men, who are conservatives, who come and speak at our rallies. What makes the rally, what brings down the hall, is when we have an immigrant who comes in and says that I left my country for the crap that I'm seeing now in this country. And they're completely flabbergasted. They left their country. It was a socialist country, despotic country. They come here to America for the whole freedom, liberty, yada, yada, yada. Chevrolet, apple pie, mom and pop. That's what they came here for. Only to find that it's just this, it's the same damn thing. And it must piss you off as an immigrant to see that happening here.
When I came to the country, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I left India when there was emergency declared and all the rights were taken away. That's when I left the country, and I came here, and it's like a wonderland. I loved building a business, build something with hands and my mind, taking care of people. It's just like a dream come true. I just loved it every single minute. I never left the state. I was here. I came here to study at Harvard, and I stayed here for close to 40 years. And I had nothing but the best things to say, except in the last few years, we can see the unraveling, the big C and the small c, the corruption with the big C, and setting foot in here, and the crony capitalism setting foot in, sort of creating a situation. It's not what's good for the people is good for us, but what's good for me is good for the people. The dynamics have changed a little bit. It's reversed. So this is not something that we want to continue here, and I think now it's hopefully the tide will turn with the new administration.
Dr. Kishore, why don't you give your information to my audience, how to get hold of you or your drug addiction counseling center, and then how you take it from here, and we're going to come down to the bottom of the hour and wrap things up.
I'm Dr. Kishore, and my phone number is 617-953-8994. The name of the company is National Library of Health and Healing, and you can reach me at PO Box 6707.